I started to develop my skills during this project when I had started my preliminary task. For my task, I had my first introduction to InDesign. It was the first time I had used the app on my laptop, which was difficult because I didn't know what tools were for what and I didn't know how to properly do certain things. I also was introduced to Lightroom CC for the first time to edit my images properly. The preliminary task was extremely helpful as it gave me a small hint on the things that I should be doing for my final piece. When I had finished the preliminary task of creating a front cover for a college magazine, I had a small insight on the apps and the softwares that I would be using. The skill of using these softwares had really developed throughout the final project. I mostly used InDesign as it was the main program to create and join the pieces together for my magazine. I believe that my skill grew throughout the project because I had gotten used to using the apps and I had relatively good understanding on the tools that I had used and how they helped me create my magazine. But even after finishing my final project, I knew that I could further develop my skill if I did more practice. I also used Photoshop to edit any images that I felt like it needed editing. I was confident when I was using Photoshop because I've used it frequently before this project, which was very useful because it didn't take me long to edit my images, and I knew what tools did what and how it can make my images the way I would like them to look. Photoshop helped me throughout the project in the aspect of editing any flaws or changing the background color. I developed my skill in Photoshop even more during this project because before this project I used Photoshop differently. Throughout the preliminary task and creating my magazine, I was still a beginner to Lightroom, which I think is convenient because it allowed room for practice and for myself to learn how to use the app. By using this app frequently to edit my images, I learned how to edit my images in a way that was professional. I enjoyed using this app because it was straightforward and it gave me tips on how to use each tool and how it may affect my images if I were to use them. Lightroom was also perfect for a beginner to edit their images. It helps you a lot, which is very handy. It was also perfect because it taught me how to edit my images in a way that I have never before. It also made me comfortable and confident in using the app. I also learned the use of font and how they might convey a message that's being sent to my readers. I learned how different sizes and different styles of font might change the mood within my magazine, and how each font has a personality to it. It didn't take me long to realize that the use of font is actually quite significant when preparing a magazine. I found the website DaFont helpful as it assisted me in finding the fonts that I wanted to use in my magazine. In addition, I also learned how to use the right language when writing my magazine, the way of which I would communicate to my consumers. Language is important because if I had used the wrong terminology or words, it can possibly offend my readers, misguide them to what I'm trying to say, or create the wrong idea.